Latest news, we'll have guests most weeks. I'm going to have, guests that come in, give us wonderful perspectives on, because Lord knows we've got enough negativity out there, right? So this is about having a real clear picture and building toward that in what we're doing, because we're going into the world of the unknown. So that's very important. What I want to, before we get into the latest news, I want to find out from you guys, how many of you are referring other people? How many of you are bringing people into this, whether you're, building teams and really diving into it? Do we have the majority of people here referring other people, or is it something that you're participating in it, but you're not necessarily referring other people? There's quite a few here that are definitely referring other people. The other question that I want to ask, and I want you to put this in the chat: are you employed by an employer, or do you own a business? In other words, are you full-time in Carrot Bars, or do you still have a job, or maybe owning a business? Put job in the text chat. Okay, because that's like me. I've got, my business that I'm basically full-time in the business. I had hoped that with me being in the business for in Carrot Bars, I had hoped that building my organization that I would be able to maybe retire from RQM. The deal is I love that. I love being able to build houses. I love the design factor. I have released some of my other job responsibilities, but I love what I do. Like, I don't want to quit that. But it presents challenges, and what I found myself doing, and I thought you might be feeling the same way whenever you have a job and other responsibilities and family. We quickly go to that as an excuse not to do it, not to further Carrot Bars. Our insecurities, instead of dealing with what not saying that you're dealing with insecurities. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is that sometimes, instead of looking at the real issue of what it is, or maybe seeing, I really want to refer other people, but I don't have time to do that. I remember having a conversation with Joby and with Brian Cromley and Nitsa. And, I said, okay, I see what's happening in your life. I definitely want to do this, but I don't have experience with that. I automatically started looking at excuses as to why I wouldn't be successful. And I just remember them saying, how can you do it? How could you fit this in? And I remember, because I've read so much, instead of saying I can't afford it or I can't do this, how can I do something that I want to do and achieve and accomplish? And one of the things, because I see here that there's a lot of people here that have either full-time jobs, or you've got another business you're running, or maybe part-time jobs or whatever, and families and stuff that can distract you. And they're legitimate distractions, right? How can we do something and add something else in our life? And I started looking at things I could give up. I sat down with Nitsa, Brian, and Joby, and I said, I'm going to have to be very scheduled. I can't do this thing of people calling me without an appointment and me, answering it. If I'm in a meeting at work, even though I work my business out of my house, I still have to be very scheduled. Have people accepted that? I have a lot of people that have. Have other people said, Quenna, I can't work with you if you have to be that scheduled? And that's totally cool. But there are limitations that you have to make to say, here's what I'm going to say to you. We are at a time in Carrot Bars where we desperately need to grab the masses of people, and we need to get them into this project. We desperately need that. So I'm asking you, and I'm telling you, that some of the things that are easily excuses, as to say, I've got a full-time job, I can't do it, then what way can you do it? I remember telling Nitsa, you know, I'll send videos out and follow up with people from 7 to 9 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And it was so awesome because we worked within that realm of when I could do it. How have I built an organization? Well, with those kind of time constraints, I want you guys to know that you can do it. I look at this Rolex watch, and I remember talking to Joby, and I said, I don't know if I'm gonna take the watch or the gold. What? And I remember talking to team members, you know, and they said, Quenna, you gotta take the watch. Every time you look at that, you're gonna think of your team and the accomplishments. But I look at that, and you're looking at a girl that works full-time and very happy with that. But I've also built an organization along with my leaders, along with my teams, that said, yeah, I could have grown quicker maybe. I could have done some different things, but it's manageable and you can be so successful. So I wanted to encourage you today to not just, you know, look at what you can't do because of this or that, but open up your mind to say, how can I do it? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, we need you. We need you. So looking forward, let me see if I can advance my slides here. We're going to move into the next thing, and that is the latest news that, let me turn my chat off too. Looking at the latest news that's come out since last Saturday, and y'all, this is totally awesome. Did y'all go and see it? So one of the things that we've encouraged you to do, and that I would continue to say that this is one of the most important things, is every day you log into Carrot Bars, go to your general tab, go down to latest news and see what's come out. We know that there's going to be regular latest news that are, you know, that come out. This is about cash code. And we're going to be talking about a little bit later. And let me tell you something. Today, our focus is going to be on the K1 Impulse phone, because so many, you know, of you guys have received your phone. It's coming if you haven't received it. And we need to know not only about that, but we need to know how this contributes to the ecosystem. So my goodness, we've got some friends, Rob and Teresa Cannon, that are here from El Paso that are going to, you know, share their excitement with us. We've got Sean Moloney from the UK. So many of us know him, and we enjoy his knowledge and his delivery and the simple delivery that he educates us on, you know, the perspectives of the ecosystem. He's going to talk about that and how it directly relates to that. And one of the things that we'll be talking about is this very thing, cash code. And so it was awesome to find out that cash code is now going to be able to be used in CarrotBit again. And then for the security, you know, reasons. And we've got to always remember that a lot of these things that they put into play is all about security. And so there's going to be an 8-week code on the cash code that's put into CarrotPay. So one thing that you want to do is, if you're acquiring cash code, you need to make sure that you take it from storage, load it up in your CarrotPay ASAP, because there will be an 8-week code. It also says in here that if you unload it, put it back in storage, and then you decide, oh, okay, I want to put it back in CarrotPay, then your 8 weeks begin the time that you load it into CarrotPay. Now, immediately we can rock and roll with the cash code, purchasing products and you know, on our website. But there is, in using it on CarrotBit, there's an 8-week code. So make sure that you go to that latest news and you know, become familiar with that and make sure that your team knows. We're going to look at the events that are coming up, everyone. And we've got a Super Saturday in Waco, Texas, that's going to be led by Joby and Denise Gay. But we've got other leaders here, Mark and Bridget, Johnny Bruce, Jan Aderholt, Jonathan Burleson, that are all going to be helping to lead this thing. You can go and register. It's February 1, so that's next Saturday. But go to Waco Synergy Saturday 2020.eventbrite.com and go and register there, y'all. On February the 8th is going to be a Super Saturday here in Little Rock. It will be, I'm hosting that, but Joby and Denise will also be here with us on that as well. We will be doing a guest event, which of course those are free. And then we will be doing the brand new training. Y'all, it's so exciting because, and I'll be talking about that in just a second, we're going to be, we've got new presentations and new trainings that we're going to be privy to. We're going to be learning about that. We've got a special time tomorrow for you to see all of that. But y'all, it is awesome. It's awesome. And anyway, you can sign up for Arkansas's Super Saturday by going to there's the link there. Take a screenshot of that so that you can go and sign up. Space is limited. It will be a sellout. So you need to get registered right away. I announced this to my team last night. Already we've got registrations that are flowing in. People want to know. They want to know. This is a wonderful, wonderful, this is the USA National Success Training, March 13th through 15th at the Omni Hotel in Dallas at Park West. So you can see the information here. You know, like at the Arkansas Super Saturday, and I'm sure at the Waco one as well, there will be tickets that I'll be selling at a discount, but we also have online registration. So stay tuned for that, everybody, but mark this on your calendar. You do not want to miss it. It is going to be awesome. And there's going to be top leaders from all over, definitely the USA, but probably more countries that will be there as well. Today at 1:00 p.m. Eastern, this is a training. This is an awesome, awesome, awesome training. This is actually about building your organization, Go Director and Build Directors. And it's with Nitsa and Priska. And I'm telling you, this training changed it took my business from being just, oh gosh, I hope people will come in, to where you take those people that come in and you learn the process of duplication. And I'll tell you that you don't have to like the system. You don't have to like it, okay? But the system works. The system duplicates. There's lots of systems that work, lots of systems that'll bring you money or income. But there's not many systems that duplicate. And this is a system that Nitsa and Priska have used over and over and over again. If you want an awesome, awesome training, this is where you need to be today at 1:00 p.m. Eastern, and it's at the same channel that you're here on synergygoteam.com. So tomorrow at 7:00 p.m. Eastern, there is going to be a live VGR. Notice it's for affiliates and guests. And what I'm encouraging you to do is you need to attend. You need to see this amazing, amazing new presentation that we've got. It is awesome. It's at the same channel, synergygoteam.com, 7:00 p.m. Eastern. But we've seen the slides on this thing, and you don't want to miss it. And you also want to flood that place with your guests. Okay, you'll be so happy and proud that you sent them. You really, really will. I want to tell you, I want to go back. So I'm thinking about that cash code thing on the latest news. That begins next Saturday, February 1. So you want to make sure that you tune in to the huddle call on Monday, because there will be a training on how to set that up. You want to make sure that you've got that thing in carrot bit on the gold miner, and so that you can, because it's going to start February 1, the Gold Miner program, and we're going to talk about that here in just a second, along with Sean Moloney. But I wanted to mention that, and also know that you guys get familiar again with making sure you're going to synergygoldgroup.com, and go to events, because I'm highlighting these because I directly, you know, am related to these events. But y'all, there's lots of events that are going on everywhere. So make sure that you get familiar with that events on Synergy Go group, because all of us that are in leadership and running events, we are trying to get in that mode of making sure that every single one of our events are being there loaded up, and also just a very simple link for you to be able to access the registration and be able to register for those. So today what we're going to do is highlight the K1 Impulse phone. Okay, and Rob and Teresa Cannon, y'all know that, and y'all have heard me say that El Paso I've developed a relationship with that team. I met them when I first actually had an event at the Omni Hotel, at the same one that we're going to be doing the success training in March. Boomer Dan was one of my speakers at that event that I had, and he introduced me. There were people from his team that came to that event, and I'll tell you, Perla Gerardo, Tom Lopez, and then also standing out in my mind, I see it in my mind right here. And I remember Nita saying, Quenna, this woman right here, because we had asked her to share, and that was Rosa Lopez. And Nita told me, she said, Quenna, I want you to listen. She's about to speak. Listen, this is how you share a story. And I remember standing in the back of the room and just thinking, man, these people are awesome. Well, later we developed a relationship. We did some meetings together, Tom and Perla and that whole El Paso team. I met Rob and Teresa. That it's developed into a beautiful relationship, you know, with that team there. They're like family to me. And Rob helped us run the El Paso events. Teresa, what a beautiful, beautiful spirit that she has. Well, they got their phones this week or last week. And I wanted them to come on and share. I hope that they can get their camera on. Are you guys out there? They're from El Paso. They're helping the team there. Hey!
Good morning.
Good morning.
I want you guys, everybody needs to be exposed to Rob and Teresa. And I want y'all to just take a minute. You know, what was it like when you knew you got the email that it was going to be delivered? You know, we're all so excited. If we haven't received it yet, which is me, I haven't received it, but I'm looking for that email. So very happy that it's coming. Glad you guys have gotten yours. Congratulations. But speak to us. Let us know what those feelings are. Are you impressed with it? Let us know what's going on with the way you feel about it.
Never got the email. Never. We heard a knock on the door and Robert went and answered it, and it was a FedEx delivering it. And I tell you what, I wanted to rip it open right away, but Rob wouldn't let me.
First thing I did was I called Tom and Pearl. I said, you guys at the office, you're going to want to see this.
So now he's torturing me all the way to the office because I'm wanting to open this thing up. So I was really excited when I got to. But I tell you what, guys, I've let go of all my other phones. This is the only phone I use. It really is very high quality. I was amazed with what we received and the thoughtfulness behind our company. I mean, the earbuds, we had no idea they were going to send those in. They're awesome. And, you know, we got the opportunity to go to Dubai and we bought some plugs. They were like $80 or $90 just for one to Dubai. And look at this, they thought about it. So when we travel, we're taken care of. I mean, that is awesome. They gave us a case so we don't have to go and try to shop for one. It fits so perfectly. I love it, love it, love it. And I'm so grateful. I'm looking forward to the development of it and the apps that are going to come out, and just how we don't have to worry about other people getting into our bank accounts and our Carrot Bar accounts and knowing our family pictures, our family history, what we do. We can have it all, have it all.
Amazing phone. I'm real excited about the open source with the app development. That's just going to blow this wide open. Of course, that's the techie in me. I love tech stuff.
He does. Quenna, I just wanted to tell you that, you know, Robert was really ill for a while after Dubai. Robert got really ill. We were, had to spend some time in the emergency room. And you were the one thing, the Quenna and Wendell, that kept our lifeblood going when he was going through that.
Because you can come to the coffee session from your emergency
Hospital room.
hospital bed, you know. In intensive care, you can still attend coffee sessions.
So thank you for all you do. From Rob and Teresa, please keep it up.
Awesome.
Love you guys. Thank you.
Love you too. You guys are amazing. Aren't they on fire, y'all? Don't you just love? That's the thing about you guys. It's like every time being around y'all, such smiles, such joy, such peace. You're wonderful. Thank you so much. I look forward to, I'm like you guys, to see the different things, being able to use our phone, actually using it.
Yeah.
And and how the company takes care of us and going the extra mile as far as like the surprises in the box besides the phone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's awesome. Thank you guys so much, and y'all have an awesome, better than great weekend. Love y'all.
Thank
So
You too,
You
and
too.
thank you for inviting us to be on Coffee with Quenna and Friends this morning.
awesome. Y'all take care. Thank you guys.
You too.
Isn't that wonderful, y'all? And those things like that, we need to hear from the affiliates on their perception and their viewpoints of the products as they're coming out and as they're using them, right? And guys, I'm gonna tell you that this is going to be an amazing portion of the segment today. And what I want y'all to know is the more that you hear this information, the more that you hear it from a wide variety of people, it's going to broaden your mind. It's going to increase your knowledge. And where your knowledge is increased, where you have an education and you start to apply that, right? You become more familiar, and what you thought without the knowledge, it starts becoming more clear, and you're thinking, why did I ever even think that way? It's very important that you tune in to the places and the channels that you need to in times like this. It's very, very important. Sean Moloney is a Go Director Elite 3 from the UK. He is one that y'all have heard me say many, many times that he's one of my favorites in his delivery of the information that we get from gold, why we need gold. Even where he gets his education is a lot in line with mine. I appreciate so much, Sean, what you do for the community and helping to increase that knowledge. It's like a free-for-all. Like it's right there available, and that lines up with me. And I want you to know how much I appreciate it. And I really, as we're moving through this endeavor, and we're maneuvering, we're having to be adjustable at the same time. When things come at us unexpected, we need to be okay with that and allow ourselves and develop the habit of being adjustable. So I want you to, let's just converse. I want to, I'm actually, what I'm going to do so we can see you real good, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And we want to see you. So can everybody see Sean?
Yeah, I think we're on full screen there now, Quenna. Good
There
to
you
see
go.
you. How are you keeping?
Doing good. How are you doing?
I'm really delighted to be here, Quenna, and I'm absolutely delighted that you're grasping the nettle and continuing this every Saturday. I think it's absolutely fantastic, and we've learned so much over the years just by plugging into yourself and Quenna and Wendell and the rest of the team. So I'm delighted to do my bit now and maybe help, keep things moving along, because it's all about information, Quenna, as you quite rightly say.
That's right. That's right. Well, I want you to just take it away. And then, everyone, we've got Perla that is also behind the scenes. She's going to be helping me every week. She'll be monitoring, questions if you have questions or whatever. But I want I want you to have that freedom to be able to speak on the phone, but then how it also relates to the ecosystem and cash code and all of that, like what we talked about. So I'm going to turn it over to you, and I will be here listening in, and also may ask you some questions along the way.
Yeah, let's keep it coffee morning style, Quenna. No problem. It's as you know, we spend a lot of time during the week working on the three main principles of this project, guys. You've got the macro, the financial education piece, very, very important. If that's not something you're keeping up with, or you don't feel you're fully up to speed with the vagaries of the fiat system, with the vagaries of what's going on with QE4 now, believe it or not, with some of these higher level of incidents going on with trade wars and currency wars and everything else, it's easy to be drawn in by the mass media. Some might call it propaganda, but you've just got to make sure that you're attuned to it, because I'll promise you one thing: what is going on in the wider world is our biggest marketing department. Okay, it's only a case of making sure that we help people to understand that they don't need to be 100% reliant on bosses, banks, or governments. Okay, and I said 100% there. Yeah, notice we're not here to cause trouble. We're not here to change the world. We just want to make it a little bit better for people, and it becoming better for people often resides in education. So we'll spend a lot of time on that all week long. So, the beautiful thing about the coffee session on a Saturday is we can look at that in the round and see how all that can have influence. And Quinn has touched on that a number of times already today. But then we take that first principle and we plug it into the second principle, which is the vehicle. Carrot bars is the vehicle. Carrot bars represents a mechanism by which you can reduce your dependency on the fiat system fundamentally, frankly. Okay, Quenna and I both come from business backgrounds. I am 100% business background, as you can probably tell by the way I talk, and if you've listened to me for any length of time. We've run business for years and years and years, and we still do. And like Quenna, I absolutely love it. It's something we've worked hard to set up. We've got property business, we've got corporate business, we've got manufacturing business, and we've worked very hard to set that up. But over the last 10 years, certainly since 2008, it's been something that's not quite so much fun, because there's been a realization that everything's in our control. So the reason I got involved with projects such as Carrot Bars and several others across the blockchain space is because it allows us to separate ourselves in just some way from being 100% reliant on it. And Carrot Bars needs to be seen in that lens. It needs to be seen as a vehicle on which you can take yourself into an alternate way of not only being able to accrue wealth, and frankly, the amount of wealth you're able to accrue compared to what you would be able to do in a normal business is quite astonishing in this vehicle. But not only that, you're a part of a project that is ordaining an ability for people to be able to transact peer-to-peer on something called a blockchain using tokens or coins, whatever you want to call them, inside that infrastructure called KBC. Okay, so with that mindset, in my experience, you're much better armed to be able to understand just how challenging it is to be able to set that thing up. Yeah, and you have then a higher level of respect for people like Harold Seitz and Joseph Haidt, because frankly, they're doing something that's never been done before. So when you start to think of this at that level, then it enables you to remove yourself from the weeds, which is very easy to get drawn into. It can be something as simple as, where's my phone? It can be something a little bit more complex, like, well, why is the coin price now doing what it's doing? Or it can be something as simple as, this is too complicated. I don't understand how all these new packages work. Well, at the end of the day, the beautiful thing about the infrastructure, and Coffee with Quenna and Friends is a great example of the leadership and the community trying to talk to people in a way that they understand and in a way that helps us all to help each other. And you're going to be hearing lots and lots of that. Nitsa kicked that off last night with an overview to the wider community. Priska and Nitsa will do that again this afternoon, UK, USA time. And we will hear a full PGR tomorrow. So as Quenna said, make sure you're plugged in and connecting yourself and hearing these things over and over, because then you'll start to realize what it is we're doing next with regards to the evolution of this project. Okay, so that kind of segues us into a conversation we can now maybe have a couple of minutes on with regards to cash gold, because when you do understand the reason to own gold, and then you realize the ability to create gold from sweat equity, okay, and then be able to convert that sweat equity into true equity, which manifests itself in commissions coming into your life every Friday and every month, then you start to get yourself ahead of the game. Yeah. So what's basically happened over the last couple of years with this project is we've sort of built a business in reverse in many ways. We've managed to bring into our lives asset position, which normally is something you do in a balance sheet. You know, you buy up, say, for example, in some of our businesses, we have machinery. Okay, and when you buy machinery, you buy that machinery as it ordains itself as an asset to go out there and actually do something. And you press a button on the machine and it makes things, and it's that creates the machine's value, because you've built something or made something that's of use to somebody else. That's really what the company is doing. It's made things like this. Okay, these are the machines. But in order to make this valuable, it gets pumped with a mechanism, a means of exchange that allows it to be valuable. Okay, and that's called KBC in this world. So many of us have built that in our own personal lives under public and private keys in this amazing blockchain world. So those things are sat there now, ready to fire up the machines. Okay, and it's in that action that we start to see this company be able to take its next steps. And its next steps, frankly, are to be able to create enough revenue and therefore fees inside these machines that allow it to increase the underwriting of the fundamental foundation of the factory that the machines sit in. And that foundation is made of gold. Okay, so this isn't a case, or it was never a case, of huge investors coming in and huge shareholders from private equity or huge money men coming in and laying down that gold so they could take all the benefit. It was always about us as normal people going out there and creating the necessary momentum, which is what the original premise of this company is. It's to allow people to get hold of small amounts of gold. That built the company up to a place where it was big enough to then be able to bring in bigger people. Joseph Heinz represents that type of person. They're then able to overlay on top of that the ability to fund infrastructure and get the thing going even bigger. And part of the funding of that infrastructure has been what we've all been doing over the past couple of years in terms of converting our devaluing fiat currency into a stake. That stake manifests itself as KBC. Okay, so everyone can understand, and I'm no different than anybody else. I sit here as an observing affiliate, and I look at the roadmap and I look at the gateposts they're trying to achieve, 100 to 1, 75 to 1, 50 to 1, etc. And I look at that and I say, okay, that's interesting. That would be very much worth being a part of. I am going to take a stake. And we all did that, big part of that. But that is one thing. Being able to actually convert that into something that is interchangeable at that rate, that ratio, is an entirely different thing. Okay? And I think many of us are sat at the moment scratching our heads saying, okay, well, we got that far with it, but I'm a little bit disappointed now that I'm not able to suddenly accrue all this gold at this ratio. What's gone on? Well, if you're plugged in and you're fully watching this from that higher level of position, you know, you'll understand what's going on is legislation, regulation, and some, let's call them shenanigans, which is a British word for people not quite playing fair, let's say. I think we all know what went on there with billions of coins over the past 12 months. And Howard Science has to make decisions. He has to see the landscape for what it is. When Quenna runs her business, she has to maneuver subject to what's going on with all sorts of different factors. Okay, legislation, regulations, suppliers, marketplace, ongoing demand, what's going on with different movements in the property game. I'm exactly the same. Howard Science does that on 50 decisions. I mean, huge decisions. We can't even think about some of the pressure that guy's under. And I'm not here to make any excuses or defend anybody or anything. But what I'm here to do is put a dose of reality on the situation, whereby, yes, we're privileged to actually own stakes in something that is just about to come to life. And we'll talk about that in 1 second with regards to the actual phones and what's going on with cash gold transition between Bitcoin and between Carrotbit and CarrotPay. But at the end of the day, this now is the time to move forward and bring in the demand on top of the infrastructure that we've been given. And to be able to do that as people sat in the comfort of our own home at the end of the day, without any necessary overhead, without all the aggravation of staff and insurance and legislation and all the things you have to worry about when you're running a business, I think, frankly, is a privilege. And I don't want to belittle anything to do with people's disappointment, Quenna, but I do like to talk with a straight bat. And I then like to talk about what it is we are going to do to make sure that we see the reality of ratio convertibility and everything else that the gold standard bank represents. Okay. So with that said, Quenna, I can move on to the cash gold unless you want to drop a couple of points in there yourself, because I'm trying to build the picture so we can move on to what we're going to do next.
Yes, and I think that I think that that has been done very, very, very well. And the importance of realizing, first of all, that we've got to adapt and adjust. Like what you said, when you're a business owner, you understand those things, that as different issues and maybe even unexpectancies, you're faced with those, and you have to say, okay, how can I maneuver to keep this moving forward? And so, you know, that type of education, understanding, keeping that in the forefront of our mind is very, very, very important. And now, yeah, let's transition now into like the cash gold, also the, you know, the multi-packs, the gold miner, how all of that fits into now how we move forward would be awesome.
It's absolutely key, guys. And you know, I do keep a very sharp eye on the roadmap. You know, for many of you who have not read the white paper on this or fully understand the roadmap, then you should. You'll see that there are incredibly high level goals at play here. And if you keep your perspective on that, you'll realize what a privilege it is to even be involved. Because to create a level of momentum, I call this, I'm a big fan of the cash flow quadrant, as many of you know. And the best way to exemplify this is, if you've ever tried to move yourself across to the right-hand side of the cash flow quadrant, okay, in life, you'll realize that that is not very easy at all for the average person, at all. But what we have with this vehicle is an ability not only to move right, but increasingly now with these multi-packs, honestly, you've got an ability to hardwire yourself right. And we've no time today, Quenna, to go into the nuances of what it is to create a business system and have money work for you. But that's basically what the right side of the quadrant is. It's you owning a business system. In other words, in this world, we call it a team or a network. You're basically owning a business system, okay? And it's in that business system that you're able to create 4 access points to income. This is fiat income I'm talking about. We'll move this in a minute to what it is to own money income or gold income. But to have the privilege to be able to access direct income, which is us putting gold in people's hands through the Unilevel, for example. We get paid commission on that. We get paid commission now on putting these phones in people's hands, 1032, if you understand the direct commission structure. We get access to WIM laptops and CEMs. These are all direct sales and that's a direct income. Now in life, most people only ever experience direct income. In other words, they're exchanging time for money in a job, hardwired into the employment side of the quadrant. Yeah, direct income. Now, some of us, we set businesses up in life as well. We become self-employed. Okay, and that means we're able to have a business working for us, and maybe some people, small business, but most of the time, it means you have to be there in order for you to create income. Okay, but if you're smart with that, you can start to look at what's something called recurring income. So now you've got direct income and you've got recurring income. Recurring income happens when you, for example, you've got a supply contract set up with a particular customer, and it's coming, your cash flow is coming in through the year as long as you do your job. Recurring income in Carrot Bars is all about things like the dual system. It's things like, potentially is coming up very shortly, is the subscriptions for the phones, or we're paying KBC but we take a commission from the structure. That's recurring income. Very special thing to own, but you're still left-hand side of the quadrant with those two incomes, guys. You're very much stuck in that area, which again is no problem. You know, do that. But when you start to understand what residual and passive income can do, then you realize what it is to really hardwire yourself, first of all, into the B side of the quadrant, but equally and probably more importantly, into the passive income side of the quadrant, which is when you've got money working for you. Now, with Carrot Bars, you're automatically ordaining yourself into passive income by definition of owning physical gold. No ETFs, no futures, no certificates, no derivatives, ETF, physical gold, absolute physical gold. You must own physical gold in order for you to take the full power. There's no counterparty risk. You've got the ability to accrue and sell on at your behest, very much similar to what we've got with the blockchain, yeah? But with physical gold, it's a bird in the hand, it's yours to have, okay? So we'll come back to that in 1 second when we start to drive the cash gold point. But just to conclude with regards to the multi-packs and how they now represent an open door to us creating residual income through something called matching bonus, then what you're doing now is you're hardwiring yourself into the business system, the B side of the quadrant. It's incredibly powerful to be able to do that, and very, very rare. Less than 10%, if that, of the world's population actually ever understand what it is to do that, let alone get the ability to access it on one system. So for me, Quenna, it's one of the main reasons I'm involved with the project. Okay, we've acquired assets all over the place. We understand asset. We understand what it is to leverage, for example, something as simple as a property portfolio, and leverage income from tenants who pay the asset down and we take the gain on the asset acquisition. That is simple, but it's not many people do it because it's capital intensive and you have to take lots of risk and decisions and you have to negotiate with bank managers and maintenance people. It's not for everybody. But with this, you get to put yourself in the same place as that. In fact, I might go as far to say even more powerful, because in property, for example, you are still beholden to the fiat system. In this system, you've got zero counterparty risk because of the ability for you to own gold. Okay, so I'll say all that to prelude, and I'll bounce between 2 points here. What we had today, this week, sorry, Quenna, was Harold Sykes' statement. Okay, now if you've not watched Harold Sykes' statement, do so. If you've not watched it at least 5 times, do so, because the devil's in the detail with Harold, yeah, and you've got a little bit of Germglish going on. So you have to listen very carefully to what he's saying. And I do that now more than ever. I didn't used to do because I didn't understand, but now I do understand because we've been through this with KCB with Harold, and we've been through it with KBC the year before with Harold. And what I kicked myself both times on that is I didn't listen to him hard enough. Yeah, when he does his year statements, he's dropping things in as much as he can, because obviously he's moving a business proposition through a legislative and regulatory process. So he's got to be very careful, particularly in this type of community word of mouth sales strategy. Yeah, people hear one thing and go off and do something else. But if you are experienced and you listen to what people like Nitsa are saying when it comes to how important it is to position inside multi-packs right now, then you'll realize what that can mean just as we did last year with KCB, what it can mean this year with, for example, e-points. Okay. Now, I'd love to spend time talking about e-points in detail, but we don't fully understand yet what that actually means, other than you can get hold of the machines that feed your KBC value. That's how we've got to be right now, CEMs and WIM laptops. But what we do know about multi-packs is the power that they provide you with regards to more gold acquisition on top of what you should already be doing in the uni level with your classic card and owning on the auto exchange. That should be a given by now for everybody. Everybody should be accruing at least 1 gram a month, ideally a week, in that ecosystem, because that self-funds your total cash flow, if you understand that, okay? But with regards to multi-packs, cash gold is equally gold, okay? Cash gold is even smaller denominations, but it interplays with something called Carrot Pay. So I picked up on, after listening to Harold several times, I've got to admit, is I broke down 4 key aspects of his statement that then have a direct mirror effect on the power of the multi-packs as we move through this next 6-month cycle, okay? And you can see it coming to life in front of our eyes. Quenna's already mentioned today about the ability we have right now to transfer cash gold in the form of Univol across to Carrot Bit, okay? Now, there's been all sorts of discussion and challenge with regards to, let's say, less experienced people being taken advantage of on Carrot Bit by the buying and selling approach of the UMV KBC pair, okay? That's a whole different area, but safe to say, don't get involved with trying to trade through unless you understand what it is you're doing. You've got to know your price points, okay? We can't give advice, but you've got to understand what it is that Univol represents in hard gold. So notwithstanding that, it's still giving us the ability now to start to move across. Now, somebody put in the comments earlier, why the security gateway, why the 8-week delay, okay? I don't know the precise answer to that. All I do know is a huge number of people inside this community were eating it from the inside. Yeah, they were taking advantage of people. They were setting up multiple accounts. They were doing things as crazy as getting hold of as much QR code as they possibly could, and then going down to the Stuttgart, bringing out cash gold, ripping it to pieces and taking it down to the local bullion dealer. Yeah, that is not in the interests of this company or anybody inside it in terms of the medium to long-term play. So the company has to do things to protect itself. And I applaud that. It needs to do what it needs to do. It's not about us clicking a light switch and suddenly running off into the sunset with our gold and everybody else is screwed. We've got to create a community that lifts everybody together, so everybody gains together. That's why I love the uni level, by the way. If you can work your team to understand what it is to accrue 1 gram of gold a week, you are all lifting yourselves, all boats are rising. You'll accrue cash flow to pay for next month's gold in perpetuity. That's what we call free gold. But these things have to exist. So Harold was very clear. That is now available, but it's something that is going to have to be fed through the system in good order, whatever we think about it. Yeah, it's all about protecting the core, the company, the heart. But he was quick then to go on to talk about how we're going to be able to interface between UNV and Carrot Bit and it going back to be transferred to Carrot Bit. Okay, so it's like, why would you do that? Well, there's a whole number of reasons that you need to be diversified in life. Okay, we've touched on a big one just this last few minutes about what it is to be 100% reliant on fiat. Well, you know, inside a system like this, you're taking yourself away from that, but you're also being able to diversify between income, physical gold, and digital blockchain assets. And that's something that I think will make a lot more sense to people as the ecosystem is allowed to evolve. Okay, whatever you're thinking right now, and you can't get out your own way in terms of, well, I thought this was going to happen. What you've got to understand is it's all about position and leverage. Yeah, so what Harold's putting onto us right now is an ability to leverage, and then giving us an ability to move between interfaces inside this system that have the all-important attribute of creating fees. Yeah, and we'll come back to that in 1 second. He also mentioned that a second BUNV option will come to us, if you didn't notice that bit. Okay, so immediately in my head, okay, he did really well over the past 18 months to allow us access to BUNV and do these other options inside our own balance sheet. There's no way I'm going to miss out on the cash flow attribute, in other words, owning enough cash gold to be able to take advantage of whatever that is. I don't sit and wait, I build. And that's what, again, the multi-packs represent, guys, is you taking that gold cash flow, literally gold for cash flow, into your carrot pay so that these options come to you ahead of the curve. Because it's always the people at the beginning that take the biggest advantage. That's the nature of business, okay? So look out for that. He also mentioned the transfer rate, just to confirm, the transfer rate would be applicable between carrot pay and the blockchain, okay? So any cash gold that we have, as soon as they get carrot pay on the blockchain, and for a transfer rate, whatever that might be, and again, we're going to go into this whole world of people thinking it's this, should be this, and it should be that, and everything else. It doesn't matter. It's about having access to that liquidity in gold for you to be able to leverage other parts of the system. Yeah, because the money shot with it all, and he took great pains to stress this, is that once one of the largest, if not the largest, and he didn't mention who it was, even though we can all have a pretty good guess, one of the largest exchanges on the planet, one of the largest crypto exchanges on the planet, as soon as they see this thing connect together, then they're going to allow, frankly, carrot bit and carrot pay and everything that exists in this ecosystem to interface with their platform. And it's that opens up a whole new marketplace. In other words, awareness, in other words, demand, because people will see on these exchanges that they're actually able to interface between crypto and carrot pay. In that, fees get generated, and guess how those fees are paid? In KBC. So that is a big thing. I think he actually said himself, it was one of the final pieces of the jigsaw, I think he said, or the puzzle. And this is what he's saying. He's trying to connect all these pieces at the same time as protecting his business, at the same time as fending off things that may not keep him on a straight path. Our job is to hold our nerve and make sure that we, while all this is going on, get ourselves in a position to be able to take maximum advantage of that cycle. And again, that is exactly what the multi-packs are for. They're there to give you depth in residual income that you can then use to create financial choice. Financial choice is always the first prerequisite to financial freedom. But if you don't move in the cycles and you don't help other people in your business system, then you're either going to have to buy your way there or you'll never get there. So it's a case of making sure that everybody links arms and we all move together forward with how this thing is connected. Now, last from me, Quenna, just to get the elephant out of the room with regards to KBC, he was also very clear, probably more clear than he had to be, about how all this starts to then influence the price of KBC. Yeah, it's a very interesting project, and frankly, it highlights the difference between customers and business people. Yeah, because, and there's nothing wrong with either, by the way, it's just that customers and investors, dare I say it, always get paid last, guys. Always get paid last. They cannot possibly take their gain until the business people have done their job. So if you sat in this project just waiting and hoping everything will work out, then frankly, you may as well stay in your pension plan or your 401k. Leave it to somebody else to figure out your future. But if you're in this project and you're vested because you understand how you can influence everything I've just been talking about, even as someone who's initially come in just to hold some coin and hope for the best, then I'm hoping listening to sessions like this and other trainings that you'll hear in this community help you to understand the power of being able not only to move right and hardwire yourself into B&I, but also to have influence over the value of your future. Now that is incredibly rare. Business owners normally are the people who enjoy that privilege. Only. Not you, me, and normal people plugged into a laptop in the comfort of our own home, who have managed to now understand vaguely what gold represents and how it may connect to another infrastructure. If you understand what it is to be able to get out there and talk to people just because it's the right thing to do in terms of owning gold and separation from fiat, and because it also empowers them to look after themselves, then you realize the influence you have. And again, the multi-packs are all designed to help us to do that, because it gives us a momentum that, yes, pays us through in cash gold predominantly right now, but you've got to understand how that comes back to be able to bolster what you've already got and move the ecosystem into play. So very quickly, Harold was clear. KBC, in terms of its own utility value, which self-ordains revenues and therefore fees in the ways I'm going to describe now, which creates an ability for the company to bring more underwriting under itself. Remember, I said earlier, it's easier for these big financial players to go and find huge investors and angels to put this gold down and everything lists. But guess who takes all the gain? Certainly not us. Harold's trying to give us the chance to go through the process to be part of that and own the underwriting. That's what he's trying to do. Okay, so KBC creates value obviously by people funding these things. Yeah, that's gateway number one. It's the obvious one, because 25,000 of these things, I've already got 2 accounts set up on this already. Okay, I don't know what that's going to cost me yet. We'll find out shortly, but it's going to be paid for in KBC. That's an obvious one. I think getting access to things as simple as, well, I say simple, but things as normal to our lives these days as email, but an email that activates itself on the blockchain. That's what the WIM laptops have as an example. That'll all be funded through KBC. KBC used to pay transaction fees in Carrot Pay as people move between gold and digital assets, as I've already alluded to. You've got to understand how big that is. And once we get the relationships right with some of the world's largest crypto exchanges, in terms of people being able to see that interface, yeah, whatever your opinion is on stable coins or, you know, gold link, whatever, it's not that relevant. What's relevant is the ability of a company that's even trying to do it to allow the market to decide what it wants to do. That's what's relevant. This is the only company I'm aware of that is actually put itself into a front foot with giving that real space. You know, I did a video just recently, Quenna, where I was breaking down the top 20 coins on CoinMarketCap as we stand today, and not one of them has actually realized a real market utility yet. So the coins are over here, the markets are over here. Everybody knows that there's something coming with the blockchain, and everybody knows that these things are sort of interconnecting, but it's almost like there's 2 magnets with negative at the minute, and they're pushing off each other like this. You bring this project and it clicks, because we're bringing our own utility. This is the magic of crypto data. That's the point of that relationship through Joseph Hine. He's bringing that market to our utility and our coin, and utility comes off the coin. That's what's going to happen. That is what's happening right now. These phones were on the drawing board 12 months ago, guys. Yeah, so that's important. Every KBC transaction fee will be paid on KBC through some of the world's biggest exchanges, as I say, and KBC, of course, will be used to fund and provide momentum inside K-Merchant. Okay, so at least 4 out of those 5 are on us. We have to go out there and talk to people to create the very market that will cause the function, that will create the revenue, that drops the fees, that bring more gold underneath this coin, that allows it to increase in value on utility demand and underwriting value. Yeah, so I'm not here to preach, guys, and I'm not here to to do the job of the company. But I like just to drop these things in, Quenna, because it's a shame if people don't see how powerful it is to be the arbiter of your own financial destiny based on assets you've already accrued. Don't ride it, guys, drive it. Okay? And you will see this thing come to life like nothing else. And I'm over the moon that we're being given access to hardwire ourselves now into the B-side quadrant with the multi-packs. Quenna, I really am. I just think it's such a simple way for people to create cash flow. Notwithstanding, don't forget the unilevel, guys. Don't forget the auto exchange. That can really fund your business in cash flow, and it gives you all sorts of options to open up them with multi-packs. And I know I'm talking to existing affiliates here, guys. And if you're new listening to this and thinking, what the hell is he talking about? Then just plug in and keep up with who brought you here, and they'll help you very much so. And we'll do our best, and I know Quenna will every Saturday, to keep us on the path. I probably went a bit more than I wanted to there, Quenna, but
No, I think from looking at what's in the chat, you know, there's light bulbs that are going off, which was exactly why I wanted this today, because I think so many times we operate within the knowledge that we have, and we make decisions based on the knowledge that we have, not realizing everything outside of that. There's wonderful opportunities there that to increase our knowledge, to give us the information to move toward that financial freedom. And so ride it, don't ride it, drive it. I love that. And then, you know, it's so important to hold our nerve. You know, you said that. We've got every single one of us, probably everybody that's attending today, we're involved in this project. And so a lot of times we focus on going to Blockfolio to see what's going on with the coin, instead of looking at what is going on with the ecosystem and how this all comes to play, everyone. Okay, because we don't know how all of it comes into play. And it's important that we come to sessions like this to where we can increase that knowledge, keep a level head, hold that nerve, and be able to know the part that we play in furthering this mission. And it is true that when you're a business owner and you're moving, when you're operating on the left side of the quadrant and you're trying to move over and participate in the right side of the quadrant, your mindset and your knowledge has to be totally different. It does not operate like the left side. And a lot of that is developing that habit of holding your nerve and increasing the knowledge to say, let me get with people that do have more of an understanding of this, even though we're all trying to figure this out. But there is something obviously that they know that I need to grab a hold of so I can hold my nerve. Okay, we've got to be confident in knowing, and then increasing our knowledge to understand what you were talking about, Sean, about how cash code comes into play, to understand what's going on at corporate to drive this thing, and also having an affiliate base that's still operating on the left side. You know, there is a big time challenge that they've got there in trying to drive in this whole blockchain project where others have never gone before, and then also trying to hold calm, cool, and collected the affiliate base. But my first of all, I want to say, Sean, that the way that you explained that, I'm learning just like everyone else, and the perspectives that you have helps me to be able to, okay, now I'm fueled up, I've got that knowledge, I'm able to now go and help lead my teams, do my part in this thing, so that we all can experience not just a financial choice, but to actually see the results of making the decision from that choice that we all have. We're presented with a choice, but unless we actually make a decision to move forward with that choice that we're making for financial freedom, we won't ever experience it, right? So it's not just the fact of having the choice.
Absolutely. Choice is the first step to freedom.
Yes, prerequisite.
Yeah. And I don't speak as an advisor, guys. I don't speak as a necessary expert. I just speak as someone who's done it. And I had to learn it. You know, we had endless sleepless nights building up assets and and figuring this out for ourselves. And as I say, I got severely kicked between 2009 and 2013. So that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to understand how we could possibly separate. Did I expect, Quenna, that I would be on Saturdays with Quenna talking to hundreds of people and explaining what? No, I didn't. But another part of my learning process, frankly, has been the power of community. You guys, wrap yourselves up in people like Quenna and Priska and Nitsa and Shamin, and wrap yourselves up in these people. Yeah, genuinely make sure that you're, you know, shifting the balance of the people you spend most time with. And there's no excuse in 2020. I'm talking to Quenna in a completely different time zone. Yeah, 5,000 miles away. So it's very doable these days. And the power of being able to leverage a business system through community is bar none the most effective way for ordinary people to be able to create momentum. If you can do that on an asset class that is immune from inflation, then it's, I've run out of superlatives, Quenna.
Yeah, it's very, very powerful to be able to do that. And our vehicle being Carrot Bars, where we can experience all the different income, definitely the residual and the passive. I love that, what that brings to us, y'all. That is, you know, the bringing financial freedom. That's the ultimate mission of the company, and why I'm so involved in this and in 100%. So Sean, thank you so much. Thank you. This has been a wonderful, wonderful segment, and I appreciate it big time.
No problem. I can drop just 2 quick tips in, Quenna, if you'd like. Just 2 very, very quick tips.
Yes.
That may be useful now. So you've heard the overview on my perspective, guys, and I'll do my best to break that down and be real with it all. I'm not afraid of, you know, having the conversation with people who don't have the vision or aren't as vested or don't feel it. I'll have a conversation with anybody, okay? And I've shared my thoughts. But it's all right sharing thoughts, and it's all right giving people the big picture, but what does it look like on the ground? Yeah. Now, we've no time today to go into the deeper detail, but a couple of tips that I'd give you. Gold miner fires up, I think, a week today, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Now, gold miner is a very simple mechanism that does 2 very important things based on everything I've just been saying. First of all, its whole reason for existing is to create some velocity inside the KBC infrastructure. It's potentially thousands and thousands of people all activating with a very simple button in their back offices for the company to bring out 75 KBC, which creates that movement to then have the ability to go into residual income from the multi-levels. It's subject to your business status, of course, bronze 2, silver 3 levels, gold 5 levels, VIP 7 levels. Understand this, guys. If you do nothing else this week, understand what it is to be positioned. And we're always trying to help people understand the power of VIP, because we've lived it, we've experienced what it is to create positive momentum by having your total business system working for you at maximum level. That's what 7 levels is. Okay, so do everything you can to make sure that you're taking full advantage of that as it exists. So that's what happens there, is your KBC starts going to work. That obviously has an effect on demand, and everybody know or should know what happens when you've got demand over supply. Okay, but also it's helping us to create what I've been talking about and what Harold was talking about, which is to naturally flush cash gold into your carrot pay at this time. Yeah, there's lots of interesting things we're going to be talking about going forward with the equal presence of e-points, by the way, which will create you some financial choices going forward. But for now, focus on what you can see and leverage. So get that cash gold pumping in. Now, this isn't a very sophisticated tip, but it's something that may help some people. With 160 people on here today, go into the market and buy an equivalent amount of KBC, which will sustain your business for the next year or 6 months, whatever you want to do. Yeah. If you do the maths on that, then, you know, it's 3,200 or something like this, or whatever 75 times 52 weeks is. And then take a look at what that's going to cost you today in order for you to position your gold miner for the rest of the year. And then watch what happens when you take that entry point and you maneuver it as KBC starts to accrue. Bear in mind, people are going to be using these. There's all sorts of other things going on, as we discussed, and that creates natural cash flow of cash gold. Yeah. So it's a little bit more of a nuanced, little bit more harder to understand version of 75 to 1, frankly. Once you understand just how much more cash gold you'll be able to get hold of by working your business system. It's what, again, separates the business people from the customers. The customers will kick and moan that they've not been able to suddenly get their gold. But as business owners, we understand you can get so much more, and it lifts all boats, and it creates financial levity with KBC or digital assets and your gold assets. So if that's not something you've heard before, maybe that would be something you want to do. Very, very quickly on the phone, Quenna. And this is something I only realized this week, so maybe it's relevant to this week's coffee call. If you do have your phone, congratulations. If you're still waiting, they're being delivered in order of order. In other words, people have been ordering these things since last March. Okay, so people who ordered first are getting delivered first. Yeah, they're all coming out of Stuttgart. Everything's going out there. It's on its way. Don't panic. But when you get your phone, they're very, very easy to set up. Okay, very, very simple to set up. It's very intuitive. You're not going to be able to see this very easily, but it's very much like a normal phone to set up. But when you first get it, bear in mind that these have been stuck in Hong Kong for months. Okay, so they left the factory with a certain setting in them. What I've noticed over the last few weeks is they've been updating the settings. Obviously, it comes down onto the phone like any phone update. So you push from the top down, and then you do that again. And down the bottom there, there'll be official training on this, guys. Don't worry, all this is coming through from a video, hopefully very soon. There's a little cog just here. You press that cog, and it takes you to a back end of this phone, which allows you to press something called system updates. Press the system update, let the phone do its thing, takes about 20 minutes. Then you've got access to WISP. And WISP is where you want to be, because WISP enables you to back up your digital assets on the little key with the red one. And it allows you to place your digital assets onto what they call the everyday key, which are the little gray ones. Okay. And the beautiful thing about that, in my personal opinion, is it's such a nice thing now to have my digital assets off the internet.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is ultimately what this is about. This being able to be used as a phone is great, but what it really is a mobile bank. Thanks, Quenna.
Secure and private as well. And so that's totally awesome. Thanks. This is awesome, everybody. Have you enjoyed today? Is this just like what the doctor ordered or what? Been awesome, hadn't it? Yep, for me too. Sean, you're loved by everybody and you're appreciated, and I want you to know that. And yeah, y'all, we are in for an amazing ride, and you know, hang with it. Don't ride it, drive it. Hold your nerve, you know, because listen, those waves are coming, you know, it's coming. So it's very, very exciting. So Sean, thanks again. Thank you for everything. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Awesome. So let me go back here, guys, because I'm fixing to close here. I'm gonna share my screen. Share. And I'm gonna move to the next thing. The last thing that I want to mention to you all is I've set up a new email, coffeewithquenna@yahoo.com, coffeewithquenna@yahoo.com. If there are things that you want discussed or whatever, I want those suggestions sent to me. And we want to make sure that when we get together for coffee that, we have a great time, but that it's pertinent information that you're wanting to hear. And so I welcome y'all to send, topics that you want to talk about, coffeewithquenna@yahoo.com. Just zip it over there and I'll be reading those. And also, anything like if you want to compliment, anything that's going on, maybe certain things that you love to see and all of that, I welcome you to do that as well. And next week, it's very, very important that we understand furthering this. And maybe you're stopped and you're kind of stuck in a rut with, what are some invitation questions that you can ask? We're going to talk about those next week. And so next week is going to be awesome. You definitely want to tune in to the ACES training today, here in just a little bit. You want to attend tomorrow at 7:00 p.m. Eastern here at the same channel, synergygoteam.com, for the new presentation and training. And then on Monday night, don't miss the team huddle, Synergy Go Teams huddle, team huddle, where it'll be the full lineup of, the schedule, the plugging in, the latest news, training, success stories, and all that, the full gamut there. So you want to make sure that you attend that, and then definitely put on your calendar for next Saturday, Coffee with Quenna and Friends, and we're going to be coming to you with another great segment. So you guys, y'all have a great day, have a great afternoon and weekend, and we'll be seeing you around in just a few minutes, and then again tomorrow, and then again Monday, and then definitely next week I'll be with you again. And y'all have an awesome, awesome, awesome day, and we'll talk to you later. Love y'all so much. See you later.
I got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric wavy when I turn it on. Off from my city, off from my home. We're flying up no ceiling when we in our zone. I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off of it, moving so phenomenally. You're more like the way we rock it, so don't stop. And under the lights when everything goes, nowhere to hide when I'm getting you close. When we move, well, you already know. So just imagine. Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. Feel good, good creeping up on you, so just dance.